so I thought maybe I would reach out to you guys and see what's going on with you. We will talk about the Instinct X and the Wahl High Vis trimmer, both of which I've recently released some content on. And if you guys have not seen the videos, just go ahead and head over to my profile and check them out. And yeah, man, we're gonna talk about some of the innovation that's coming out of Wahl, believe it or not, and the innovation that's coming out of Stylecraft yet again with their latest clipper. So we'll let some people get up in the room. Let me know where you're tapping in from. And yo, tell me my beard don't look, boy, can he put this thing on point, y'all? Oh, we got Poland in the house. What's good? I don't know if you noticed, but I'm Polish myself. Of course, I've never been there. Always wanted to go. And I think that'd be a really dope place to visit. So, yeah, essentially what we got in the Instinct X is we got a whole slew of good stuff, from the double magnetic guards to stand micro USB charging, 4 hours of runtime, and a vector motor. Jay Visuals said, he said, yo, that beard looking fresh, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did not do it myself this time, although I do have a short ready to release, and we'll do that. So Archie, man, don't tempt me. I might have to get on a plane and head up to Poland. Let's go. So shout out from New Jersey. I appreciate you, man. Cuss by Mr. Angel. So let me clue you guys in a little bit on this Instinct X. And essentially what you have is a different style of body. The motor is slightly different looking. I can't really confirm that it is the exact same motor. It does not vibrate as much. It is not as loud. It comes with a fade blade, and this thing just munches through the hair. So for anybody who's looking for a clipper that can get through bulk, fade, really it's probably one of the better and most well-rounded clippers I've ever used. One thing I can say about the original Instinct, as much as I like them, when I would use them for long periods of time, my hands are kind of bigger, and I even said this in a couple of videos, that oftentimes you would actually see me holding it almost like a cigar. Like it would be between these two fingers, working it back and forth. And that was mainly because my hands would start to cramp because it was a little smaller. Now what we got here is a much more like traditional style of body, where it is essentially more like the Ergo. So if you guys were a fan of the Ergo, and I have a piece of content I'm working on right now with the detachables, all right? Williamsport Barber Supply, they sent me out some really expensive units. I think if I was to do the math on them, probably pretty close to $1,000. It is the Oster 76 cordless detachable, the Andis Pulse ZR2 detachable, and the Octane, which was already one that I was already really happy with and have used for a long period of time. And then we threw in one that was corded as well. They said to me that they still sell a lot. Thank you, Aldo. I appreciate you for joining. They said they still sell a lot of detachable clippers, which I was interested to hear. In fact, the Oster 76 corded version was still one of their most popular selling clippers, which, yo, tap in right now. There's a lot of you guys in this live. Do you have a detachable on your station? That's the first question I'm going to ask. And also I'm going to ask you, do you guys think that detachables still have a place in this business right now? And one of the reasons why I ask is because the clippers are so powerful now. Many of the clippers that I've been using, like the Instinct X, some of the rotary motors, the Rebel, the Wahl, even the Wahl Seniors, fairly powerful. So what I'm asking you guys is, do you think that there's still a place on your station for a detachable? And just since you guys are all tapping in live, I'll share with you some of the thoughts. Now it's been a while, at least probably 2 or 3 years since I used a detachable until recently, until they sent me these. And I gotta say, when dealing with certain hair types, the detachable mows down the hair. There's none of those little hairs left over. the length, actually on the top of my hair, there's something about the length of the 1 1/2 that I love. I absolutely love that length. I know I could put a 1 1/2 on a clipper and get pretty close to this length, but there's something about that length. It's like the perfect length to make it look like I still have a lot of hair. Now, of course, I have some enhancements in my hair right now, but it's the perfect length. And if you are doing like debulking, if you're looking for ways to speed up your workflow and your work time, detachables definitely are something that I think are flying a little bit under the radar right now. And even with the power of all these other machines, you can still see where using a blade rather than a guard affixed to a blade, which is essentially what all these other clippers are, you could still see where there might be a place for you to really save some time in your haircut. So I'm still kind of working on, some of the testing and some of that video, but I gotta say, like, all in all, I think there could still be room for a detachable. He said detachables are still the best for debulking. As Kai Darium, VIP fades. Detachables are my go-tos for older gentlemen cuts, especially when they want anything below a number 4. He said, I don't know, I've been thinking of getting one. What up, Ed? Cyborg clipper or Instinct X for the chosen one. That's a tough. Yeah, I agree, Mike Dog. He said, I feel like the detachables will lift the hair better. It'll lift soft hair better. I kind of agree. I agree with all that's being said. Somebody who just asked what's better, the Cyborg or the Instinct X. I like the Cyborg. I like the motor that's in the Cyborg. I don't know exactly. All right, I think I do know what it is, but it's more of a guess than anything. When it comes to using the Saber's clipper or the Cyborg, right? They got a digital brushless motor in them. And I feel like the speed that clipper runs at really meshes well with how fast I move through my haircuts. And I've noticed even today I pretty much use the Saber clipper again all day. And I can't explain 100% why, but my blends will come out really fast, really good, without hardly any struggle. All right, and they do have the power to use for like some debulking and stuff, but obviously there's clippers that are better for that. And that's kind of what I'm gonna say. So really, I do think the Instinct X is a better clipper than the Cyborg. If I was just gonna look at it black and white. All right, yo, check out the hair. Boom, boom. Roland said, yo, can you show your hair? Now you're gonna notice on the top, if you look real closely, you could see the enhancements, like where they kind of blend out to. So when I do enhancements lately, all right, so there's a new barber that I've recently hired at my shop. It's been a long time since I've applied enhancements with a brush, but he was doing this on a lot of his clients, and I'd been using sprays or an airbrush or something for a long time. But when I seen him start to use the brush again, I kind of forgot about how effective the brush can be. Now, what's really nice about this is I have these in my beard and I have it in my hair. But when you put this in, it's a little bit dark and a little bit harsh right now. But once I go home, shampoo my hair, wash it, it's still gonna be there for like the next 2 to maybe 3 days. It'll be a little darker and it will look good. Most of the sprays that you use in an air gun are not gonna last as long. So, that's one of the reasons why I actually started to go back to using the brush to apply the enhancements. And I also think if you guys have never used the product Tintation, it's an aerosol spray. I think that spray is so good when it comes to trying to get a nice photo, show a client what they would look like with some enhancements in, and do that. I think that's super cool. Super cool. At the Barber Polski, all right. Saber clipper has the same motor as the X Ergo. No, it doesn't. The Saber clipper has a digital brushless motor, whereas the X Ergo has a magnetic motor. And if there's some people out here, I've been doing a lot of like because of my relationship now with Williamsport Barber Supply and the fact that they've sent me a lot of tools that I haven't been working with in a long time. Some of that would include like the Magic Clips, the Seniors. Obviously, I've used these things throughout my career, but since I started to link up with Stylecraft, I never really had a huge need to use those tools over the last couple of years. And now that I'm going back and I'm experimenting with them, I can say that I'm glad that I have the Ergos. I'm glad that I have the Rogue. There was a particular instance, literally yesterday, I was using the Magic Clips, and I would say the Magic Clips are a great fading clipper, and on most people I would not have any trouble. But I'm working my way through this blend and I'm just kind of struggling. Like sometimes they're cutting and other times they weren't. So I'm like forcing it to work, and it wound up, I just put the Magic Clips down. I struggled enough and I'm ready to get this client out because the next client is sitting there, and I don't normally ever run behind. I pick up the Rogues, which are essentially an Ergo. If you don't know, they're the cheapest version of the Ergo. I pick up the Rogues, turn them on, and the predictable fade and power delivery that's there was so much easier to get my blend down. Now, that doesn't mean that the Magic Clips are a bad clipper. I don't think they are. I just think that I need to practice with those and get a little bit more comfortable with those. And when I ran into the type of hair that those just did not work well with, I think that's what happened. Now the Seniors, different story. The Seniors, I was able to pretty much execute every blend exactly how I could with pretty much any other clipper. I think the Seniors are a much better clipper than the Magic Clips, personally. But I know there's probably a couple people in here with the Magic Clips sitting on the station, and I'm sure you guys are formidable with them. Forrest Gump said, "Did you break up with Stylecraft?" No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Stylecraft, we're still great. We're on great terms. I work very hard alongside of them, and I absolutely love their company. And if I didn't think that they made the absolute best tools, I wouldn't probably be rocking with them as hard as I am. But you have to understand, Stylecraft and Gamma, they're operating on a whole different frequency. They're still a smaller company. They're able to maneuver and change their products and really meet the needs of the barbers without having a million people involved in each decision. So when I look at a company like Andis, per se, Andis does not really innovate much. They have been trying the last few years. They had the Pulse. That was a pretty decent electric shaver. And they just released that trimmer. I can't even think about the rent. They have to get a million people involved. I don't know if this is working. I lost the connection a few times, but we're moving down the road. Hopefully it gets a little bit better. But as I was saying, when it comes to companies like Andis, you're gonna have a lot of chiefs and not enough Indians. And if everybody is not on board with the decision that you want to make, then you're just not going to be able to make a good decision. Whereas Gamma and Stylecraft, they're much smaller, and they're able to make decisions on the fly and say, you know what, this is working. You know what, this isn't working. Let's do more of this and less of this. Whereas Andis just doesn't have the ability to innovate like that. So I really feel like I really feel like there might be a day coming where there is no Andis. Tap it in the comments right now. Who right now is excited when Andis releases a new tool? What is the latest Andis tool that you're really excited to see? And I gotta say, I'm grateful to see that Wahl actually put out a good trimmer. The high vis trimmer is a solid little trimmer. All right, it is good. It is new. It has a new body style. It has a new feel to it. It's got a different blade. It has USB-C charging and 2 hours of runtime. This is something that I wouldn't expect to come from Andis, and honestly, I was a little surprised to see it come from Wahl. So it's a welcome addition, and it makes me feel like maybe Wahl has some plans to find ways to make themselves more relevant, which is good for everybody in the industry. I think innovation from wherever it comes from is good for our industry. It's good for our business. It helps make the competition better. Neil, what's up, man? Good afternoon. He said, Wahl and Andis seem outdated. And you know, that's the thing, is like with certain companies, they can kind of rest on their morals, they can rest on the things that they've already accomplished, and they allowed other companies like JRL, Stylecraft, there's a bunch of other companies that have popped up, and they've seized a good part of the market. Now you got many companies that are making millions of dollars, when if they would have been ahead of the curve, if they would have been making new tools, innovating, and of course they can do it. You know, Wahl is an American company. If they wanted to create the best tools, they certainly could do it. I don't know who Andis is consulting with, like Barber wise, talking to people. I don't know what their focus groups look like. I don't know what they're doing internally to come up with the stuff that they're coming up with. But in my opinion, it's not worth it. Whatever they're doing is not working, and it's not something that I'm seeing any excitement over. When you go into the shops now, you might have a few guys cutting with cordless masters or something, and probably in some of the old timer shops, you're gonna see, you know, corded Andis masters and stuff like that in there. But how long can that really go on for when you have companies that are providing more in the box, more value, better run times, better motors, newer technology? I mean, how long will it take for people to say, you know what, for my hard-earned money, I would rather have all of those things. I would rather have all of those things. And I know there's a lot of people that despised the things that I used to say about Wahl, but you guys know deep down that what I was saying was true. Wahl has created the same tool over and over and over again with different colors and different lids, and sold them without anything really new happening. And if I look at what new Wahl has done, they have the Wahl Vanish. That's a pretty good electric shaver. And now they have this new high vis. But if you look at the time frame that it took for these things to come out, it's way too long. In that period of time, Gamma and Stylecraft released something like 20 tools. You know, they're releasing things so fast that these bigger companies are going to have trouble keeping up, and they're going to wind up losing market share to those bigger companies. So when you have a company like Andis that's so top heavy, I really think that there could come a day where we won't see Andis anymore. And you know, I don't want to see that happen. I'm just pointing out the things that I see. Andis is not doing things that make barbers excited right now. And thankfully, Wahl actually succeeded in making a trimmer that can actually compete with Babyliss, and it can actually compete well against really every company, I think. And the latest version of the detailers, I got that with the Magic Clip combo, the black Magic Clip combo. That latest version is actually really nice, performs really good, but it's nothing different compared to what was already available. It's a detailer that's black. So the fact that they've went out of their comfort zone, got USB-C charging, and did some different things, take a risk. Have some fun. Try some things. Talk to some barbers. Get on the ground. Hand out some tools. And, you know, become relevant. Become relevant again. And my advice to Andis would be the same thing. Whoever you have making those decisions for you, that they don't probably need to be part of your company. You're top heavy. You got too many chiefs, and you ain't got enough Indians. And you know, at the same juncture, I think it's something that we could all take to our business. Like if you are doing things, let's say that you only learned one hairstyle, and you forced that one hairstyle upon everybody. Everybody that came in, you said, no, man, you getting a number 2 on the back and sides, scissors on top. That's what we do here. We're the best in town at doing it. Like at a certain point, will there be clients that come in? Yes. But at a certain point, you're gonna lose out on a large portion of the money, the market. So I mean, if you look at other case studies like Kodak, when they were a film company, for some of you guys are a little too young to remember, you would get your photos developed, and they had this thing going for a long time. Digital photos come in, they could have been at the forefront of that. But people who were consulting with them were telling them, look, this is the new thing. The internet is real. This is going to be how people get their photos now. You guys should do digital photos. They sat back and said, we are $1 billion company. We've made so much money. How can you tell us how to do our job? And where are they now? Bankrupt. So, at a certain point, when you don't innovate and you just rest on the accomplished big companies, can go down. So I just think that if you got the right people consulting you and you're making the right decisions, you can avoid, all of these things. So two on the side, scissors on top. That's our special, baby. I want to do that haircut around the clock. And I don't know if a lot of you guys follow Marvy Marv, but if you listen to some of the stuff he says, it's 100% true. It's like everybody wants to do these like Instagram